He leaned back in his chair like the room belonged to him. The courtroom was quiet, heavy with that tense stillness that always settles before a verdict. But he seemed relaxed, almost amused. When he turned toward her, his smile wasn't kind. It was sharp, practiced, the kind a man wears when he believes he's already won. "No lawyer," he whispered, just loud enough for the people nearby to hear. "Figures." A few heads turned. Someone in the gallery shifted uncomfortably. She kept her eyes forward, hands folded neatly in her lap. Her dress was simple, no power suit, no entourage, just her, alone. Or so it seemed. The judge hadn't entered yet. The attorneys were arranging files, murmuring quietly. Her husband, soon to be her ex, straightened his expensive tie and glanced at his legal team. 2 lawyers, confident, prepared. He leaned closer again. "This will be quick," he said. "You should have listened when I told you how this would end." She didn't respond. Not because she was afraid, because she didn't need to. The courtroom doors opened and the bailiff called everyone to rise. As people stood, 2 figures entered quietly from the side. They didn't rush, they didn't speak, but they moved with a presence that felt different. One was a man in a clean, dark suit, tall, controlled. His posture was straight in a way that didn't come from confidence, but from training. The other was an older woman beside him, calm eyes, steady hands, her expression unreadable. They took seats in the gallery behind her. Her husband noticed them immediately. He frowned. "Who's that?" he muttered to his attorney. The attorney shrugged. "Probably family." The judge took his seat. The case began. Formalities, opening statements. Her husband's lawyer spoke first, smooth, aggressive, filled with words like evidence, negligence, and entitlement. He spoke as if the outcome were already written. When it was her turn, she stood. "I'm representing myself today, Your Honor," she said calmly. A ripple moved through the room. Her husband let out a quiet chuckle and shook his head. The judge studied her for a moment. "Very well, you may proceed." She took a breath, not to steady herself, but to begin. She spoke clearly, slowly, no theatrics, just facts, dates, records, patterns. Each sentence landed gently, but precisely. Her husband's smile began to fade. Then the judge asked, "Do you have any witnesses?" She nodded. "Yes, Your Honor." Her husband laughed openly this time. "Witnesses," he said under his breath. "From where?" She turned slightly. "My brother." The man in the suit stood. The courtroom shifted. He walked forward, each step measured, calm. When he reached the stand, he raised his right hand and was sworn in. He answered the judge's questions simply, professionally. No attitude, no emotion. Then her husband's attorney asked, "Sir, what is your occupation?" The man paused, not for effect, but because habits run deep. "I serve, United States Navy." The attorney nodded dismissively. "Rank?" "Chief Petty Officer, formerly attached to a Special Operations Unit." That word lingered. Special Operations. Her husband sat up straighter now. "And your relationship to the plaintiff?" the attorney asked. "She's my sister." The attorney smiled thinly. "And you're here to intimidate the court?" The brother didn't react. "No, I'm here to tell the truth." His testimony was calm, methodical. He spoke about finances, about threats he'd witnessed, about documents he'd helped his sister secure long before this day. He never raised his voice, never accused. He didn't need to. When it was over, the attorney cleared his throat. No further questions. The judge turned to her. "Any additional witnesses?" She nodded again. "Yes, Your Honor. My mother." The older woman stood. Her husband scoffed quietly. "This is a joke." The mother took the stand, hands steady, voice calm but firm. She spoke of years, of behavior, of manipulation disguised as charm, of how she'd watched her daughter slowly shrink in a marriage that looked perfect from the outside. Then the judge gently asked, "Ma'am, may I ask your background?" The woman hesitated, then answered, "I served 26 years." The range didn't return to normal after that. The shots resumed, but something had shifted. The confidence was still there, but it had edges now, sharper, quieter. The laughter didn't come as easily. Every time she walked past the line with a fresh target, eyes followed her, pretending not to. The Navy SEAL who had handed her the rifle stood slightly apart from the others now, not because he was embarrassed, because he was thinking, replaying the way she'd held the weapon, the breathing, the control. Those weren't habits you picked up casually. When the drill paused again, he walked over to her while she was stacking unused targets. "You said a long time ago," he said. "That wasn't civilian training." She didn't stop working. "No." "Active?" She slid the last stack into place. "Once." He studied her face, searching for rank, for age, for any clue that would make it make sense. "You don't miss," he said. "Not a compliment, a fact." She finally looked at him. "Neither do you." That earned a quiet smile. The range officer cleared his throat and raised his voice. "Final drill, moving targets, volunteers only." No one stepped forward immediately. The SEAL glanced at her. "You're not on the list," he said almost to himself. "I know." He hesitated, then did something no one there would forget. He turned toward the range officer. "I'll sit this one out." A few heads snapped around. Before anyone could question it, he stepped back and nodded toward her. "Let her run it." The range officer frowned. "She's support staff." The SEAL didn't raise his voice. Didn't need to. "She's qualified." The pause stretched. Then the officer sighed. "One run." She stepped onto the line as the targets began to move, fast, unpredictable. This wasn't about accuracy anymore. This was about instinct. The first target appeared. She fired. Hit. The second crossed hard left. Hit. The third popped up late. She adjusted mid-breath. Hit. The rhythm was different now, faster, sharper. There was no room for thought, only muscle memory and trust in training that never really leaves you. The final target appeared for less than a second. She fired without hesitation. Hit. The range went completely still. No one clapped, no one spoke. Even the instructors stood frozen, staring through scopes like they'd just seen something that didn't fit into any category they knew. The SEAL exhaled slowly. "That unit patch," he said.